Who wants some space ramen? That's right, we're about to embark on an interstellar adventure with the express purpose of acquiring space noodles. In space. This is a completely normal thing to do. Normal. Okay, what I'm actually talking about is Star Citizen, Chris Roberts' crowdfunded space bonanza. Right now, the game is just an alpha with a few game modes, but the plan is to build it out into a sprawling and active universe where players could do whatever they want. It's basically going to be a modern, online version of one of my all-time favorite games, Wing Commander Privateer. And hey, look at that, it's even made by the same guy, Chris Roberts, what do you know? The game's brought in over $107 million in funding already, but it's still ages from release. Right now, all we have is a few combat battle modes and a small open-world multiplayer sandbox with a couple of space stations and planets to check out. There are some missions to do, and you can get into dogfights with other players, but for the most part, there just isn't that much going on here. Players have to make their own fun. Left to their own devices, players come up with some pretty weird stuff, but my favorite thing to do in the game by far is the Big Benny Summit Club Challenge. Here's the deal. In Star Citizen's Alpha Sandbox, there's an abandoned space station called the Convolex Shipping Hub. Inside, there's a Big Benny brand ramen vending machine. The goal? Enter the space station, push the machine out of a breach in the hull, load it into your ship, and get it back to the sandbox's player spawn point. Sounds easy, right? It is not easy. To start, ramen wrangling is an effort achieved primarily by fighting the game's physics engine. Sure, the vending machine is a free-floating object, but it's not actually supposed to be moved from place to place. I spent hours on Skype nudging this thing down hallways and trying to cram it into my ship's cargo hold, but it just... every time it got into the ship, inside the ship, the gravity would take hold, it would just fall right back out again. It was a nightmare. If you don't get the machine in at just the right angle and close the door at just the right time, you're screwed. Of course, getting it inside of the ship isn't the only challenge. This is a multiplayer sandbox, which means there's trolls. I had to start over multiple times after having other players destroy my ship or steal it just after I got Big Benny into the cargo hold. With a little help from the folks on the forum and Reddit, I eventually figured out that you can shoot the thing inside of the cargo hold, gaining momentum and getting it just enough speed that you can close the door in time. Still, with the ship I was using, the Avenger, it was a pretty tight fit. Now the goal is to take this thing to Port Olisar, which is good because there's gravity there. It's a little easier to push it around, but it's not really an environment meant for vending machine transport. You keep having troubles when you try and get the machine into the airlock. There's lips it can't get up, and it took me forever to figure out that you had to get on the ground and roll left and right to get the machine to jump over ledges. Just getting it to Olisar isn't enough though. You need to get it up 2 flights of stairs and into the hab unit that your character spawns in when you first start your turn. Once you figure out how to get the machine over lips, it sounds easy enough. All you have to do is get it on the stairs and slowly push it up to the top. But I had a problem. In my first run doing this on Twitch with my buddy Tim, I'd landed on the wrong landing port. I was at landing pad B, but my habitation unit was at landing pad A. I couldn't get it in the final door. We spent hours working on the challenge and I didn't get in, but I fixed it. The next day I went back, and armed with my hours of practice on Twitch, slowly nudging this machine through space and through corridors, I did it. And I did it in under an hour, getting Big Benny up 2 flights of stairs at Port Olisar, into my hab unit, and turned over so you could see the big lug on the face. With a Big Benny vending machine in my bedroom and a space selfie to prove it, I've done it. I've earned this badge. I am a Big Benny Summit Club member. Convolex to Olisar, 2 flights up. I am way more proud of this than I should be. So why are we talking about video games this week? Well, one, because doing that was a lot more work than you think. It was hard. You go try it. But mostly because instead of working on the Ghostbusters review this week, I animated that new intro up there. Yeah, I've never animated a thing in my life before, not really. And I was stuck on a plane flight and I made this one. And that's ugly. It didn't, it worked. It showed me I could do this. So I made this. I'm really proud of that. So if you don't like it, well, you can tell me, but I'll be sad. But if you do like it, yeah, animation is very cool. Will I be doing more animation videos in the future? I don't know, but maybe. And that'd be neat. Anyway, have a wonderful week, and toodles.